Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Real News Extra. My name is Fred. I'm the operations manager here at RELAW APC. And joining me today is Jennifer Felten, the principal and founder of RELAW APC. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
So this month's case of the month involves title insurance and a claim. Please tell us what happened.
So claims are actually not a huge thing. Like, claims happen, of course.
Right.
But for the most part, a claim is just that. You know, you have an issue, you file a claim, your insurance company manages it, and it goes away. In this case, we have a homeowner, right? He bought a piece of property, rural land, in California, where once he was on the property, he found out that the neighboring property was using a portion of his land under a easement that was not recorded, or that was the issue, whether this easement existed and whether they had the right to use his land. And so this fight between him and his neighbor ensues over use of his land. Title insurance theoretically covers easements, so he makes a claim. However, in this case, this was an unrecorded easement, and the title policy specifically excluded unrecorded easements. So the title company denied the claim.
Right,
he
of course.
Keeps fighting with his neighbor for years. It's like 5 years.
Wow, okay.
It's a long, expensive road of litigation. Ultimately, you know, as with litigation, as you're fighting, different claims come up. Different things happen. So at one point, his neighbor files a cross complaint that is something that would be covered under the title policy. So, and throughout these years of fighting with his neighbor, he keeps telling the title insurance company, I want you to pay for this, and they keep denying it. Eventually, one of those cross complaints is something that's covered under the policy, and so they accept coverage. But they take the position that they're only responsible from the time of that claim, not back to the beginning, right? So eventually his issues with his neighbor get resolved. He sues the title company. It goes to court. We're in appeal over the trial court kind of sides with both of them. He gets some money. The title company gets some relief from some of his claims. And the question is, whether the trial court got it right. So on appeal, there's like 5 different issues. The big one is whether the title insurance company acted in bad faith. And bad faith is a big deal in insurance. If you act in bad faith as an insurance company, you're not only liable for actual damages, but you can be liable for punitive damages. Punitives are designed to punish someone, right? So say his attorney fees were $1 million, a 5-year fight, probably, right? But they could award him $10 million in punitive damages on top of the $1 million to punish the title company for not doing the right thing. So the lower court said no bad faith. On appeal, they said yes, that it was bad faith. Understand, the actual original issue, that easement, was not covered. No one is disputing whether it's covered or not. The question is your duty to defend, right? To pay the attorney's fees broader than your duty to cover, right? So, which is true, right? The case law is pretty consistent that your duty to defend is broader than the actual claim. So they could pay all the attorney's fees, and then when the guy lost, if he lost, they wouldn't have to pay because the actual issue wasn't covered, but they should have defended him, right? So the appellate court said, if there could have been something covered, not that there was, like no one's fighting that it wasn't covered, but if it could have been covered, or the scope might have been broader, then they should have defended. So the appellate court found that they acted in bad faith. So this case is going back to the trial court. So there's been no damages awarded, right? Like there's, no punitives have happened yet, but title company's probably going to settle with him at this point. That's how this works. And it really puts the title companies, any insurer, right? Like your duty to defend is significantly broader than what the actual claim coverage is. And so this is a win for consumers and a real wake-up call for insurers.
So why is that duty to defend broader than the duty to pay a claim?
I think it's the law is designed to protect the consumer, right?
Right.
It is a consumer protection piece, and the cost to litigate is so high, right? So the ability of a consumer to get their day in court is taken away when the insurer doesn't defend them, doesn't have their back when they had insurance, right? So we all buy insurance with the understanding that if something happens, they're going to take care of us.
Right.
And so that's a line that we're trying to figure out where it's at. And it's, after this case, more favorable to the consumer than it used to be.
Got it. So how can real estate professionals help their clients navigate a denied claim under a title policy?
Right. I would say even whether it's title or any sort of insurance, don't just take a denial at face value.
Right.
Get an attorney, get someone who's an expert in insurance coverage, have them look at your case and see if there's any way you can make a case for either coverage or at least a duty to defend, right? To pay the attorney's fees, even if the underlying claim can't be covered. Getting the right help to try and exercise your rights is your best option.
Okay. Well, thank you. And thank you for watching the Real News Extra. If you're enjoying this content, I invite you to click on like or subscribe. And of course, click that little bell for future notifications. My name is Fred. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.